Welcome back, pipers. Hobbiton Piper Kevin here, coming to you from the heartland of America in Missouri. And it's time for another relaxing smoke with me video. So grab you a pipe, some tobacco, tell me what you're smoking it in. I am smoking Boswell Countryside out of my little Missouri Meerschaum Ozark Mountain hardwood pipe. If you missed my review on that tobacco or the pipe store on this pipe, I'll put the links in the description of those two videos. You know what goes hand in hand with pipe smoking for me? That's bird watching. As you know, I'm a big bird watcher. And I think I've attracted about 36 different species of birds to my backyard to date, that I've been able to identify anyway. And when it's cold outside, normally I'm doing my bird watching from the windows, but when it's warmer, I've got some outdoor furniture out here and I love to sit down outside. They're used to me being out here with my pipe and then watching the birds as they come through. I've got lots of feeders throughout the yard, a couple of bird baths, lots of trees and bushes so they have places to raise their young and just places to have cover. It's a lot of fun. And I need to refill all my feeders, so I thought while we smoke together today, I'd tell you a little bit about that for those that might be interested, or just to have something to talk about while we smoke. This is a good little utility pipe to use when you're just doing other things. Don't have to worry about it. Let me tell you about some of the seed that I use that I found really, really good when it comes to attracting lots of different types of birds. The first one is sunflower chips. Now the great thing about sunflower chips is it's 100% edible, so there's not any mess. This is all just shelled sunflower hearts, basically. And the birds absolutely love these. The problem with this is it's very expensive. This bag used to be about $6. This bag is now almost $12 in my area for this bag of seed. And if I let them, they could cut through this easily in a few days. So I really have to ration them out, or else I couldn't afford to do this very easily. Not justifiably anyway. Now the kind of feeders that I like to use here, I think the company is called Brome, and they have like a squirrel buster series. We have lots of gray squirrels in our yard. And if you don't have a feeder that deters those squirrels, you're going to end up feeding the squirrels more than you are your birds. So the feeders I like to use, I'll show you one. The feeder port is down here. But if a squirrel decides he's interested and wants to jump on it, that cage will shut over the feeder port and he can't get to the seed. And then when he jumps off, it pops back up. So these are excellent for deterring the squirrels. They eventually just realize they can't get to it, they give up, and they never bother them anymore. So these are what I use, these tube style feeders with the squirrel protection. When he jumps on, it shuts, pops back up when he leaves. These work excellent. So I'll be filling one of these with some of that sunflower chips right now. This little cage just comes off. I've just got a little bucket down here. Put my feeding tube in there. And then I've got this little funnel just sits on here. I'll pour the seed right in there. The little squirrel baffle domes you see up there, that just prevents any rodents or anything that might try to come down from the top and get to the seed at night. It'll prevent that. It also provides a little bit of protection from like snow and rain, but not too much. Before we know it, they'll be hitting that feeder. I'm going to go ahead and do the other one too while we relax. You could fill it all the way up. The reason that I don't is, one, to make them eat a little slower. I don't know if it makes them eat slower, but I wait till all the seed's gone usually before I refill it. But it's because if we get a lot of moisture or a lot of rain or too much humidity, sometimes that seed will begin to clump up in the feeder port, and then you have to really work to break it apart and make it where the birds can get to it easier. So I don't usually overfill it. I just come out here and fill it every few days. About halfway up. Okay, so those are my two sunflower chip feeders. So you say, what's this third one? So there are certain types of birds that really like to peck at their food from a more upright position. See, these birds here, they'll sit on these little stands and eat the food in here. But birds over here, they can actually rest their tail down toward this part of this cage and peck at these feeder ports in the middle. I'll show you. Like that. So this is a peanut feeder, because your blue jays, your woodpeckers, your nuthatches, tufted titmice, chickadees even, lots of birds love to peck at peanuts, and this is a really good variety for them if you can get a peanut feeder for your yard. And this has the same squirrel-proof design. Here's the feeder ports. Squirrel jumps on it, it shuts, they can't get to anything, they leave, and it opens back up. So I'll show you what kind of peanuts I use. I just get them at my local Walmart. They love these dry roasted, unsalted peanuts. They love these. And again, the great thing about the sunflower chips and the peanuts, it's all 100% edible. So there's no mess, there's no shells. If you get a mixed seed bag, a lot of times certain birds, they'll just kick away the seed they don't want. You got all that seed everywhere. Or if you get, you know, like shelled sunflowers, well, all those sunflower shells are going to be everywhere. But everything up here is 100% edible. So I don't ever have any cleanup. Maybe a little bit of chaff or something from the seeds, but it just blows away in the wind. There's nothing that's not edible, and anything that falls to the ground feeders will eat, because lots of birds eat off the ground. So I never have any mess up around here when it comes to the bird seed. Now I do have a couple of feeders out in the yard, hanging from trees. And in those, I like to put another kind of seed that is mainly safflower. Now safflower seed, the squirrels don't even like it. So the squirrels pretty much leave it alone out there. But lots of birds enjoy safflowers. Some enjoy it even more than the sunflower chips, like your rose-breasted grosbeaks, for example. They love safflowers. The cardinals, they'll eat the sunflower chips too, but they love safflower seeds as well. As do many other birds, many other finches, and lots of different species. So I think what I'm going to do though today is I'm going to make a combination of safflower seeds and some mealworms. These are just dried mealworms. I'm going to mix some of that all together. And then let me show you these. Now, these are not squirrel proof, but they're not an open tray feeder either. You know how if you get an open tray, a lot of times that will attract what's called your bully birds, which are like your grackles and your starlings. And they'll come in flocks and they'll just bully all the pretty songbirds away, and you don't really want that. So if you get a feeder more like this, it's still kind of a tube feeder, but it has a tray all the way around at the bottom. That they'll eat out of. Big flocks of birds don't really bother these as much. So it allows you to feed your songbirds more instead of the bully birds. So I'm going to make a safflower and mealworm combination here and put it in a couple of these feeders and put those out in the yard. And you just get to relax while I do all the work. Oh, they're gonna love that. I'm gonna go take this out in the yard. Let's load one more. Now, at certain times of the year, I'll put up hummingbird feeders. I'll put up Baltimore Oriole feeders. So I'll show you those later this spring. The last thing we want to do, we want to give these birds some water, so I've got me some water here to fill up their bird baths. Then they'll be quite happy. Well, guys, I hope everyone's having a wonderful winter so far. Until we talk again, go enjoy some good food, good drink, and a good pipe.